Dumbo is probably one of Disney's most controversial movies, and while there are some others that have definitely come under the firing line of being in bad taste, in my opinion, nothing is more interesting than Dumbo. Dumbo is Disney's third shortest film. At only an hour and 3 minutes long, it tells the story of the adorable elephant with big ears. And I have loved this film since the moment I've watched it. It is absolutely one of my favourites. I love it for its story, its songs, and of course, its controversial history. So I thought I would sit down and talk about it because the one thing on my channel has always been about respecting another person's opinion, despite that opinion possibly being quite controversial. Hey there guys, it's me, the Average Critic. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos, and smash that like button, and let's talk about Dumbo, the most controversial Disney movie ever. So before we get to the argumentative stuff, let's talk about the stuff we can all agree on. Despite Dumbo's runtime, this film is absolutely gorgeous to look at and doesn't really feel short, as everything on screen is engaging and fun. The animation style is incredibly different, even to some of other Disney films that were coming out at the time. Dumbo feels like pages on a children's storybook. It is incredibly heightened by the film's opening of the baby delivery scene, which feels adorable and innocent. The film also uses sound incredibly well, or rather the lack of sound. Instead of relying on sound effects, it relies heavily on musical accompaniment. And I don't just mean the songs. The characters don't walk to sound effects, they walk to music, similar to something like Tom and Jerry. Even the train has its own way of talking, and the film uses sound in an incredible artistic way. Modern Disney films haven't made a film with this kind of music fun in a really long time. The film's use of sound never allows the film to feel slow or boring. Characters are constantly moving in a fun and artistic way, making the music feel fresh and exciting. And of course, the songs are amazing in this film. Frank Churchill and Oliver Wallace do an incredible job for the music. Despite this film coming out in 1941, the songs are barely outdated. Although maybe one kind of is, but we will get to that bit later. They are catchy tunes with a unique style. When Dumbo's mother sings to him, it is incredibly emotional and beautiful to watch. If you need to understand what Dumbo is all about, all you need to do is watch this sequence. Dumbo is an incredible story with a very innocent narrative. It isn't overly complicated, there isn't some grand big adventure. At the heart of it is just the relationship between Dumbo and his mother. Within the first 2 minutes of them seeing each other, you instantly get it. Dumbo's mother is an awesome character and is a brilliant Disney mum, and these characters don't even say a word. It's all done through beautiful animation, music, and the expressions on their faces, which is all incredible. Keeping with the music, before we talk about other controversial characters, we have to mention the Roustabout song, which in my opinion is way more sensitive than the Crows. When watching the film for this review, I had the subtitles on, and this song definitely comes under fire for being possibly racist. To me, the lyrics aren't specifically saying anything negative towards a specific race. It is perhaps hinted, but depends on how you choose to see it. The song is called Song of the Roustabouts, which roustabout is defined as an unskilled or casual labourer. So this song is a labourer's song. Obviously, all the men are black, and there isn't any white characters to be seen. I am going to ignore the fact that they are faceless, because I think it's just the animation of the time, and it's actually a visual artistic choice, as this film's animation is incredibly different and unique. If this scene took place in the sunshine in the day and was trying to say everything was fine and dandy back then yes, I would call this scene out. But considering the scene setting of the harsh rain, the dark setting, the scene is clearly trying to make a statement of the problems that specific races or work ethics had at the time. I researched a lot of opinions online, I spoke to friends, I read some articles, and I am definitely coming to the conclusion that I'm not saying that this scene is racist. But I'm also not saying this sequence isn't racist. But what I will say is this scene is historically accurate. There would have been a lot of black male workers at the time doing the hard labour, and despite it all, history shouldn't be erased and ignored. It would be far worse for it to be treated inaccurately. The only people who truly knew the intentions of this sequence are the directors, and unfortunately, they have all sadly passed away. That is all I will say on this topic, as it is definitely not my place to say anything more, although I do look at it from a storytelling point of view, and the scene aids the story, it's entertaining, and is engaging to watch. The animation, despite directors' orders from Disney to keep the film simple and inexpensive, almost works in its fashion. Everything feels soft and not too dramatic. Watching this film in modern times is incredibly refreshing, exciting, and animation companies are constantly trying to improve with animation with different techniques, and while that is definitely a good thing, it's nice for a film to just tell a simple story with great characters. And what characters they are. Dumbo is adorable, and is now the reason why I definitely want his plushie. Mrs. Jumbo is so warm and heartfelt, and considering I am not a parent myself, you almost want a mother like that. Timothy Q. Mouse is a brilliant side character with an incredible voice which oozes off the screen. Despite being very small, he stands out in a big way. Even the trained Casey Jr., who has this incredibly synthesized voice, which brings such a sense of fun and wonder to the film. This film is classic Disney, as every character feels fun and vibrant. And of course, we have to talk about the wonderful, if somewhat unconventional, The Crows. For statement, anything I say about The Crows is my opinion, and if you don't agree with that, that is absolutely fine. People have different opinions, and that's cool. We all have to respect each other's different opinions so we can all get on. That's what my channel is all about. But The Crows are brilliant. The main song everyone remembers, When I See an Elephant Fly, is an awesome doo-wop style number with incredible performances from black actors. Aside for Cliff Edwards, who plays Dandy Crow, but was previously named Jim Crow, which is wrong for obvious reasons. Just look it up, I'm not going to say anything more. The performances are so vibrant and fun. I talk a lot about caricature and animation, and these characters have it in spades. Now, to break down, yes, these characters do have a lot of black stereotypes, but stereotypes, in my opinion, aren't the problem. Films have and will always use stereotypes. Most characters have some form of stereotypical behaviour. It's the context in which you use the stereotype that makes it good or bad. Now sure, there is definitely a bad way to go around it. A bad stereotype is still bad, but a good one can be entertaining. The reason The Crows are a good one is because The Crows offer a positive side on the story. They help Dumbo fly, they show sympathy towards him, and sympathize that he is an outsider and an outcast, very similar to something like, oh I don't know, black people at the time. Have you noticed that the obvious black characters are the good guys, and the clearly white voice characters like the other elephants and the ringmaster are the bad guys? All the other elephants are horrible and prejudiced towards Dumbo, just because he is different, showcasing the white privilege at the time. A large portion of black people have come out to defend the Crows from this film, including Whoopi Goldberg and the first African-American animator who was hired at Disney Studios, Floyd Norman. Now of course, the main crow was voiced by a white man, and in today's history with likes of Apu from The Simpsons being cut from the show, and Cleveland Brown from Family Guy being replaced by a black actor, the world seems to be saying that only black characters in animation should be voiced by black actors of the respective ethnic groups. But a lot of people really don't agree with this, specifically a lot of actors. When trying to cast an animated role, you find the best actor for the character. Being a voice actor, you have to add volume and depth to your character. Some of the best voice actors in the world use incredible techniques to create a voice for that character, and to me, that's the most important aspect. What does the character sound like? Think about it, have you ever met anyone in real life that ever sounds like, say, any of these characters? Stereotypes wouldn't be there if there weren't some truth behind them, and while sure, definitely some of them are negative, when do any of the Crows do or say anything that negatively impacts the ethnic group they are based on? These characters are fun, honest, and layered, and in a world where Chris Pratt is voicing Mario and sounds exactly like himself, we forget voice acting is about finding an interesting voice. Now sure, Disney does not have a clean pass when it comes to these type of things, but I am going to give The Crows a pass, as despite it using a stereotype, for me it uses it in very good taste, entertaining purposes only, and actually makes a racial point for being a positive outcome. The Crows are probably my favourite characters in this entire movie, as they really are layered, fun, and serve a positive purpose for the story. So Dumbo, despite getting a lot of controversial content, is an incredibly moving short story, with great characters, catchy tunes, and an uplifting ending that really tugs at the heartstrings. The story is great, the characters are great. When Dumbo flies, you are right there with him cheering. Dumbo is a wonderful breath of fresh air, especially today, and it dares to be different, and for me, that's what makes it special. So after all that, it gets my professional rating of 7 out of 10. It loses points for the length as it is short and you kinda do want more from it. And despite my opinion or yours, the controversial conversation that is in there within this film, it can make some people uncomfortable. But considering my opinions on that matter, it doesn't stop me from giving this film my personal rating of 9 out of 10, as this film is an instant classic and remains one of my personal favourite animated movies ever. So thank you so much for joining me in this video. Look forward to more special content coming up, guys, as I don't just have standard film reviews coming up, I have discussion videos and even more great animated content. So if you stuck around to the end of the video, why not consider subscribing? Make sure to like the video, and if you haven't already, let me know in the comment section below what you think of Dumbo. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And as always, I have been the Average Critic, and I will see you all in the next one.